Hey, welcome back to another episode of I Love What I Love. It's your boy C Swerve.
Alex.
And today we are here just discussing a conversation topic that I'm really intrigued about. Today we are discussing, does saying a racist joke make you a racist? I know that we spoke about this briefly through the phone, and you had conflicting thoughts. So I want to just hop into your thoughts, like just that broad statement. What do you feel about that?
Offer, like not thinking too hard on it, I would say yes, like to a degree, right?
Okay.
Because a racist joke makes you racist, but I think a lot of people tag that like racist joke on jokes that are like just about race or regard race. You get me? That's kind of where I'm heading at.
Okay, I believe that intent makes somebody racist or not. I do. Listen, I love comedy. I know that you love comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's an interesting space that we're in because I feel like before let's say 2016, right before Trump got into office,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of like censoring of comedy. Like the cancel culture was really high.
Of course.
Comedians were scared to not get canceled, and I love when people like state it's called like a pendulum swinging.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually the pendulum is going to swing back in the opposite direction. So a lot of comedians that we're going to speak about today, Andrew Schulz and Tony Hinchcliffe, they were kind of birthed in the era because they were like, nah, comedy's art.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say my art form, and I'm going to let that speak for itself.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's our AI producer, by the way. Can you like tell the audience who Andrew Schulz and Tony Hinchcliffe are?
Sure. Andrew Schulz is a stand-up comedian known for his edgy, unfiltered comedy and crowd work. He's gained popularity through his podcasts, comedy specials, and YouTube channel, often discussing social and political issues with a no-holds-barred approach. Tony Hinchcliffe is also a stand-up comedian, recognized for his dark, roast-style humor. He's known for his podcast, Kill Tony, where he and guests critique up-and-coming comedians' performances, often with sharp wit and cutting remarks.
Thank you, Jeffrey. So now that you guys know who you are, hopefully if you click the video, because they're going to be in the thumbnail, hopefully you guys already know who these people are and kind of know what we'll get into. So back to the topic at hand. So the pendulum swung, right? These comedians, they came out the gutter, and now it's kind of like cancel culture kind of died off. Like a lot of people realized that people were getting canceled for bullshit, for old tweets when they were 12 years old, and a whole bunch of stuff. And it kind of is in the opposite now. And that also has to do with woke culture, too. And I think woke culture is having the opposite effect where during that 2016 era, woke culture is all the way here. People are getting canceled. Then during Trump's whole campaign into now, it's kind of the opposite where it's like people are like, man, fuck woke, fuck this, fuck that. And it's kind of being disingenuous to how people actually feel. And I want to have this convo with you to kind of bring people back like to the middle of things. So we're going to talk about two specific things here. Or two specific kind of jokes. So Andrew Schulz, let's do Andrew first. I love Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed to his Patreon. He's my favorite comedian right now. I love Andrew. Been a fan for years. I watch enough Andrew Schulz content to understand that he's a genuinely great person and he's not fucking racist. The problem is in this new age society where clips kind of like clip culture is a thing. You can clip every single podcast that Andrew Schulz drops. You can clip something out of it and just post it on the internet, and someone's gonna think it's racist. He's joked about Indian people, Jewish people, black people, white people, this person, that person. Anybody you can think of has got joked on our podcast. It is a comedy podcast. You get what I'm saying? So has Tony. Tony is a phenomenal roaster. And when you roast people, sometimes you do get a little racist, right? It is what it is. The thing is, some comedians don't like to acknowledge that that the fucking joke is racist. Like, it is racist. Like, you're Hispanic. If I make a joke about being Hispanic and, I don't know, liking tacos, right, whatever, it's a stereotypical racist joke. The thing is, do I make it funny, and do you believe I'm racist or not? You get what I'm saying?
You see, I mean, are you saying like to the degree like if it's funny, it can be taken as not racist? Because I think in that scenario, right, like you're Hispanic as well, right?
Yep.
So if, say you're not, say you're like, let's imagine you're some white guy or whatever, and you say that joke to me, but I know you, right? I can, and we're like friends. That's what like differentiates it. You get me? Like you're making such a joke on fucking tacos, Hispanic, like you're taking one Hispanic community's cuisine and placing it on me, who like you don't know where I'm from, just as a joke, or whatever. There's nothing behind. There's no overlapping like scenarios.
It's not
there.
clever. It's not funny. It's just boom. That's the thing. At the end of the day, every racist joke is racist. Like you can't. In my opinion, you could.
Of course, I know what you mean.
You can't come. Like if I'm telling you a racist joke, it's racist.
If you tell me a racist joke, yeah.
And any racist joke is a racist joke. That's the whole point of it. My problem is, do you believe what my intent is? Am I a racist person? I want to play two specific. I want to play two Andrew Schulz jokes for you, and I want you to tell me the differences. Both of these jokes are stereotypical and or racist. You tell me what the underlying theme here is, right? He's on a podcast with Shits and Giggles.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on a pod with them, like they're on his pod.
Yeah.
And I'll play this clip for you.
What is the black girlfriend effect? This is
you don't know about
glow up the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up.
Glows up, bro.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed being around this black girl complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a beard
because
there's
up.
more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of them.
That's hilarious.
I think the black girlfriend effect. It might be a protective instinct, bro.
You think?
Protective. Yeah. Do you guys have you ever had black girlfriends?
Yeah.
Have you ever had white girls?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. What's your favorite? We love him.
That's the clip that got Schulz in the Kendrick bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I get. Okay.
Now Andrew Schulz got a lot of flack for that joke.
In my opinion, rightfully so. Off it.
Okay.
Rightfully so.
Now, as a person who doesn't watch Andrew Schulz content, I completely understand why if you just watch that clip raw, you can be like, yo, that's racist. What the hell is he talking about? My thing, a person like me who has watched Andrew Schulz and understands the premise of that podcast, they're shooting a joke a minute. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So some of them are gonna land, some are not. But the thing is, if you clip it up on that thing and just separate it from the entire context of everything, it looks crazy at the end of the day. Now I'm gonna play you a separate Andrew Schulz joke.
I don't even know if you're Indian. I assume you're Indian. All right. What type of Indian?
I am Punjabi.
Punjabi? Are you sick?
Yeah, I'm sick.
You're sick. That's what's up, man. Fuck with six, man. Those are the dudes that wear the turban and shit. And they got that bracelet, that little silver bracelet. That's a badass bracelet. No, for real. Because back in the day, that used to be a sheath that would protect them from swords. Because the Sikhs were the warrior class of people in India. And then over the years, the meaning has changed. Now it's used to rest on the steering wheel of an Uber, but I don't even know if you're...
Now, what do you feel about that one?
You see, I would say that's not racist.
You get what I'm saying?
But I see that there's a huge difference. And to me, in my opinion, there's a huge difference in those two.
Now, the huge difference in my opinion is it's just the joke was good, it was thought out, and it makes sense. Like the problem with the Angel's black girl on one, it just came out of nowhere. Didn't really make any sense. There wasn't really no context behind it.
I would say that's not even the main issue of it, though.
Okay, talk to me.
It's more so. Let's go for the second one first, right?
Which one?
Obviously,
okay.
Like Punjabi. Obviously, not every Indian nor most like they're not. That's like not a fact. It's like, oh, a lot of Indian people are Ubers. Get the fuck out of here. That's not what it is. But there's no like, and I guess I have no place to say this either. But just from outsider's perspective, there's no harm in making that. There's no harmful background in there, right? There's nothing harmful you're playing into with that one. Again, that was pretty, and that was funny to me. That was pretty funny to me. You get me? I would laugh at that. Whatever. The first joke, they bring up like having a non-black boyfriend or something and a black girlfriend, and then part of black culture is getting a lineup. That's like generally a part of that culture, right? Like just getting a lineup, being fresh, whatever, like all that shit. Yeah. That is, whether people want to admit it or not, that's a black haircut, as people like to say. Whatever the fuck. Then they're talking about black culture and how it changes the boyfriends, and they instantly go to something that's harmful as fuck. Oh, they're nagging all the time, or they're complaining all the time. That's like a whoa. Like why are we tying that to what the fuck we just said? We're talking about something completely different. I understand what the joke. I understand what he's trying to get at, but that's harmful. That's really protective. Like they gotta be some. That's something to be protected from black women. That's harmful. I can't. You couldn't like. You get me? You could say that to being soft or whatever the fuck it is. Maybe not true or any. I don't know. Whatever the fuck. Get to it, and I don't know what you want me to say. There's a harmful. Is the word? I don't want to say precipice. Is that the right word? Like that's founded on a harmful belief by a lot of people. There's a lot of people that feel that way for sure. That genuinely feel that way. I couldn't tell you if he really feels that way or not. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't care to look into it. That joke off rip is layered on that harmful belief, that harmful thought that a lot of people have. Whereas the Uber driver one, shit. Ha ha ha! That's like the taco joke that we're talking about. Like, you get me? What the fuck is that? All right, let's say.
My problem is to someone that can be offensive. Like if there's probably somebody who was just sick and like, yo, my dad isn't a fucking. You think every sick person has to be wearing Uber, or maybe that fucking that thing talking about that wristband, the metal thing. It's something that's very important to somebody. But look, respect another thing. My problem is. The way I see it is one joke was thought out and the misdirection was good because like the Uber joke, he misdirects you, so he leans into the whatchamacallit, the metal sheath that he says that they have, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm an Indian person, if I'm a Sikh person, oh wow, he knows about our culture. Oh my god, you know that we was a warrior class in India, holy fuck, and then bam, he smacks you with the other joke. So it's a misdirect and it's a funny joke and that thing. The problem with the last joke is. It was just raw, straight to the point. It wasn't a clever tie-in. It was just that. You get what I'm saying? Because it wasn't a funny joke. There's no connection to there's no connection to anything. It was just there. Then it's like you just made a race joke and it just didn't land. And you look and sound stupid. You get what I'm saying?
I would say that's not even a joke at that point. Then at that point, that's not no joke. You're just hoping or not, maybe whatever. You're assuming people will laugh at you saying this. Claiming that.
Well, that's when you make a joke, that's what you assume.
No. A joke for me, this is just might be. I'm open for you changing my mind here. A joke is something that is thought out. That is like there is something behind it. You get me? Like there's something behind it. Okay. That was a funny joke. It was like saying like the Punjabi one, right? Or whatever the fuck sick. I couldn't tell you. He goes from having that thing. That's like a cool like, oh, where's this story heading? You get me? Like there's something engaging. That's a joke. The first one, I would even call that a joke. Where's the joke about?
Well, the joke
was the
way I look at it is they were talking about the black girlfriend effect. So if I'm an Andrews, my comedian, I'm like, how do I turn this black girlfriend effect thing into a joke? And he tried that and he failed.
But to me, you couldn't convince me he tried that. That's what I think. That's where the difference is.
Okay.
You couldn't convince me. He just said, he was like, oh yeah, to protect them from their abusive black girlfriends, right? Am I right? What the fuck? Where do we, that's what I'm saying. There's
no correlation, there's no misdirection, there's no adding. So the joke just fell flat. Now leads me to my second one.
I think
the Tony
Hinchcliffe. If you don't mind me saying real quick though, I do feel like when you say that, you're still seeing it as like, oh, it's just a bad joke. I'm beyond that.
We're talking about context because I watched Andrew Schulz and I've seen his podcast and I know that they're shooting a million jokes a second.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of jokes fail there. I've seen a lot of jokes work there. So I understand the context of the show. It's called Flagrant. Yeah. That's the name of the podcast. If anybody doesn't know what a flagrant foul is, it's a very dirty foul. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, so the show is about making you uncomfortable with the jokes. He does that to all the guests. Just that particular joke wasn't funny.
And I feel like, I don't want to be stuck on that part. I feel like my point in saying that is, I'll lay it out as easy. This is how I feel. There's like jokes. There's good jokes, bad, whatever. Blah blah blah. Fuck all that. There's just jokes, right? Then there's like more like dirty jokes, whatever. There's dark jokes, dark humor. Then there's just bad jokes, all of that. What he did was completely separate. Those can fail. What he did there was not a failed joke, in my opinion. That was it didn't land because you got to think race, like that type of racism is funny. Like that's not even racist a joke. That's just racism at that point in my eyes. Like again, that's how I see.
My thing is, if your whole purpose of your show is to make your guests uncomfortable with insane jokes, in that context, you try to make somebody uncomfortable with the joke, and it just wasn't a good joke. If my purpose is to make you uncomfortable with my joke style, that's the way that they do it there. I'm gonna make offensive jokes. That's what they do there. I said an offensive joke. It just wasn't funny. And I watch this. And we're gonna talk about this a lot. So let's keep going. The next one, which you know, is the Tony Hinchcliffe, the Puerto Rico island. If you don't know,
where
what
are
that
my
joke
proud
is,
Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
So to me, that's in the same breath. You made a joke that nobody connected with. There was no misdirection. You didn't. When you're gonna make an offensive joke, you have the person who you are offending. You have to lead them in a way where they're not thinking of that first before you hit them with the punchline. Yeah. You just smack them with the offensive joke, and you're like, huh?
I feel like that one was how you explain Andrew Schulz joke. I feel like this one is more so that like this was a failed joke. Like that was a joke that missed its mark. That's what I see it. Because there was context behind it. He was clowning. First thing first, he started opening up with it. You get me? Like, oh, no Hispanics in here. It's a Trump rally. You get me? There's context behind it. If you missed it, that's either on you or on him for not setting it up better. That's either way, failed joke. But there was context behind there to be found. There was something. There was like something there behind it. Once again, that's nowhere near the same league as the last one that I heard, in my opinion.
I'm not here to discuss which joke is more offensive.
Of course.
I'm just here to talk
but
about
just in general.
Because like somebody could say the context of the Andrew Schulz joke was the black girlfriend and every time there's a white man gets a black girl, they get the beard and the fade, and his context was, oh, they need the beard because of this. You get what I'm saying?
I get that because you're around more people. You're obviously going to be around more people of her family, right? You get me? They're
talking about like Travis Kelce before. If you look at Travis Kelce with his previous girl, he had the fade, he had a beard, and then when Taylor Swift, he gets the clean shave with the mustache. Yeah. They're talking about the black girlfriend effect. So the context was, oh, they get the beard and all this because they got to protect themselves from the blah 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 blah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and this is Tony on the Tom Brady roast. Let me see which one. There's a shit ton over here. Let me see which one I pick. Let me click this YouTube short.
Everyone's up here talking about what a big winner Tom is, but let me tell you, Tom is afraid of the Giants, which is why Kevin Hart is hosting tonight. It's true. All night, he's been using the stool that Aaron Hernandez kicked out from under himself. It's true. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting. So many great quarterbacks up here. You know who doesn't pass? Kevin Hart on any movie he's offered.
I would have said that was all fine until the cotton pick one. I was like, oh, where do we jump from that one? You get me? Like, I get the Aaron Hernandez one, dark humor, but regards football, obviously same teammates with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right after that, he lost me.
So you think that was what is?
To me, I'm trying to think, because he felt comfortable saying that in front of that group of people, right? Like a huge group like that. But then, so same shit could be said for Andrew. And the purpose is there's making a racist joke.
I'm here to offend you.
Right? Yeah. You see, the problem is I don't want to sound like one of them people, but you targeted. I'm here to offend you. I just targeted a whole fucking lot of people, but I'm here to offend you. But I targeted a whole other group of people. You get me?
Yeah.
That's more so where my shit goes like disappears there.
My thing is,
like,
I just think is what people think is funny. Like if let's just say the Tony Hinchcliffe picking cotton is deadlifting thing wasn't funny and nobody laughed, let's say that crowd was like, ooh, then that would have been clipped up. It would have went all over Twitter, and it would have been like, oh my God, look, he talked about black people can't picking and deadlifting.
But then they cut straight to Kevin Hart, a black man, laughing at the joke.
And the whole crowd was laughing. So I think it really depends on if you're funny. If you're gonna make a racist joke, it has to be funny. It has to be well thought out. Now the problem with another two things that's very important here when it comes to these racist jokes, both of the ones that we laughed at were ones that these comedians took time to craft for and presented them to an audience. The ones that we didn't laugh at, Andrew Schulz in a podcast riffing, trying to find something funny. Tony Hinchcliffe at a Trump rally trying to find something funny. You can't do the racist jokes and just wing it because, I mean, you can, but your shooting percentage is going to be off.
It's going to be whack. Yeah, it's going to be ass.
So, now, my problem with I've been here defending the comedians, right? My problem with the comedians is their response to both of the bad jokes, right? Yeah. So, Andrew Kendrick on his song Whacked Out Mural said, "Don't let a white comedian talk about a black girl, that's law." I think he's really talking about shits and gids. A lot of people giving shits and gids. Problem like, how you gonna let a nigga say that until you're in front of your face? You're not gonna.
That's hard for them though, because they're guests. What are you gonna? Oh, what are you talking? You know, they can't. They're gonna toughen it up and trying to do some shit there. It's like they're not.
And and you're Puerto Rican and Dominican also. But you're Puerto Rican, and a lot of Puerto Ricans are upset about the Tony Hinchcliffe joke, right? I didn't like both of their responses. Both of them were like, "Oh man, here comes the woke stuff. Here comes the woke stuff." It's like, no, you made an offensive joke. It offended people. Deal with it. Yeah. If it was funny, most people just ignore it because you're a comedian. You made a funny joke. Boom, bro. We've seen offensive jokes from the dawn of time, from Dave Chappelle to Richard Pryor. They do this. Like, we've seen them use the F words when it comes to homosexual people. If it's funny, 90% of people will let it slide. When it's not funny, you flopped. That's fine. Then don't call those people, "Oh, you're too woke. You're too," like, no. You just bombed. Like that joke. Like, you just failed the joke. It's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? That's my problem with the comedians now. Is like they have the leeway to make all the racist jokes, which I'm a fan of. I love making racist jokes. My problem is I know if I offend you with a joke, I gotta eat that. Like, if I make a racist joke to you and you genuinely get mad at me, I'm not gonna come to you and be like, "Bro, what the fuck you being a punch for?" Yeah. Like, "Oh my God, Al." Like, "Oh shit." Like, can you grow up and get some balls and stop being woke? Yeah. It's like, nah, bro, I made a joke. You have the right to be offended. Everybody. And I think that's what got me mad about the Andrew thing, because he has said countless times on his podcast that, hey, everybody has the right to be offended at my jokes. Like, that's your right. So when he responded, when Academic said that he spoke to Andrew, like, "Yo, you got shout out Badu," and he said, what he says, "Kendrick too woke for a joke," is like, dude, you're being disingenuous to the people that you're offending. Like, you offended people at the end of the day. Well, if you make a joke, it's gonna be even when I said if it's really good, and 90% of folks are gonna love it, there's still 10% of folks are not gonna like it. There's some people like the N-word, right? Yeah. There's some older folks that no matter how funny a joke can be, if you put the N-word in there, it's offensive. Yeah. So there's some old folks that don't fuck with that shit at all. So like, that doesn't make that person too woke. That's just their boundary. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
I think. How do I say it? So, because the purpose of this is, does it make him racist, right? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna take that back. I don't think it'll make you racist. Although you got it. Like, if you really don't care about it, then I'm like, all right, you get me? And I do think that Andrew Schulz thing, that's a racist. That's a genuinely racist statement, no matter what. You can't change my mind on that, because I still don't see that as a joke, right? He might have said it as like a joking manner, you get me? But it don't make it a joke. But the other ones, that's like I won't say Tony would be a racist for that one, but that was out of taste, right? Like, say like the N-word, or let me use a different example. For example, let's say someone made a well thought out, or actually give me one second.
I have the perfect clip for that,
because I like when you were talking about like them acknowledging it too. That adds up to, like, okay, that makes me feel like, all right, they understand that their mind was like in a whole different, like, they genuinely felt it in a friendlier space. They like didn't mean it to be that. They were trying to make use of something that they thought was like, oh, a lot of people know this, I can maybe like use it, you get me? Yeah. It makes it feel more genuine, like I fucked up, you get me? That's why if you acknowledge it accordingly, it's like, okay, Like you said some shit hurtful, but now I know that you like do like you didn't. It wasn't meant for that. It was meant for us to be like, you get me?
Yeah.
One of those like you get me? Instead of it being once again fucked up. The first example with Andrew, that's racist as fuck. You couldn't change my mind. He's a racist for that damn near. Like if I don't know who Andrew is and I'm not too you get me hip on him. I've seen like clips on TikTok or some shit of him, and I've laughed too. I've laughed at a lot of clips he said. The fucking Punjabi one, funny to me. I giggled for that one. When you say shit like that, that's more so like
I just think it's more stereotypical than because my thing is let's just say I know it's not you. Let's say somebody like you who genuinely feels like Andrew is a racist for that. My problem is me, Carlos. There are some people who are genuinely racist whose energy should be focused on. Like if we're gonna the thing is if we're gonna just label people that because of I don't know how to explain it. It's just like if that's gonna be the bar, then I think 90% of comedians die off.
You think so?
Yeah. Every single comedian, if you name me the Mount Rushmore comedian, you can't tell me that every single one of them has racist jokes in their catalog.
Yeah, of
no
course,
ifs,
of course.
buts about
But
it.
like, once again, I remember I don't know if I said it here. I think there's a difference between a racist joke and a joke regarding race. You get me? Like it's two different. So for example, perfect or not perfect. I'm gonna see right now. Shane Gillis was on a podcast. That was just a clip I saw, and there was a black dude there talking about him. You know, Shane Gillis is a white dude, black dude. The guy said something. I can't remember perfectly. He said something amongst the lines of, "I was in a room. It was a very black room, whatever. Like it was whatever." And Shane Gillis said something. It was like, "What makes it a black room? What, you have other people stuff in it?" Ha ha ha! And they start laughing.
Yeah.
To me, that there's layers there. Like that's a genuine joke, right? Even if someone told me like, "Yo, that's not funny. He's fucking saying that black people steal, blah blah blah." I'm like, I get why you're upset. I don't think that's what like me personally.
That's
my head
where
is,
we're at though. It's
I
all
don't
about
think
perspective.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't think that was racist. He's talking to the guy. The guy's there. You get me? They both understand. There's unspoken context. Whether if you pick it up or not, and that's not your fault. But like, if you pick it up or not, that kind of determines stuff. So there might be in the first one. Maybe I'm really not catching it, and I gotta think harder. Or maybe I'm like being biased and I'm blocking it off. That's possible. I do it a lot with fucking anything. But like when he says it's like he's talking to the black guy. He's not talking to a crowd of people. He's talking to the guy. Yeah, I'm talking to you, like, right? So I'm saying, what has other people's stuff in it? You get it. You're like, there's like that little funny thing. It's like, you're fucking. You get me? That's a big stereotype. Black people steal, whatever. Blah. So for that, that's one thing. That to me is a joke regarding race that hit. You get me? Even if it missed, people would probably have a problem with it if it was not funny, and that's fine. With Andrews, it's like the conversation was regarding something completely different to that. He just threw it in there as if it's normal to say that. And even if it was like a joke, obviously I'm not saying he didn't just come in and was like, "Oh, black women are aggressive." He didn't say that. Obviously I understand that he meant it to be a joke, but when you say something like that, and if that's in your head, like just normal to say, and again, I might be taking it too far. I got to think. I would have to. Think harder on it. Probably.
I think what's in his head is what can I think of quickly to make this person uncomfortable.
Exactly, and the fact that came to his head is like makes me question him. That's perfectly what it is. The fact that you were thinking in your head, what can I say here? If everything he says is like not everything, but like if he's constantly trying to spit out jokes, and in that moment he tried to think of a joke, and that was like, oh. Why? You know what else he probably had to do that for? Adapt, because it's their
See,
fucking thing.
I don't think he
To me,
genuinely
it was
believes that. I
yeah.
think he uses stereotypes in his
I'd
comedy.
hope not.
But my problem is, and this is my brain is how do people not understand that? You get what I'm saying? It's like with context, comedy podcast. If I give context, right? Comedy podcast, offensive joke. You get what I'm saying? I understand that people, like, if I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm a guy, a white comedian, a Texas black girl. Huh? Watch, I'm like, yo, what the? Understandable. With context, don't understand.
I think maybe it is because, and if I'm going off board, hit me up with this. So you know Andrew. This is perfect because I don't know Andrew like that. I know of him and I've heard some of his jokes, but I don't really know him. I couldn't tell you anything about him, right? I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking, and I don't give a fuck to. You know Andrew because you've seen a lot of him, right? I'm not saying you know him personally, but you've seen a lot of him. You could tell probably like, oh, I know where his mind was at. You could probably tell where his mind was at for that. There's a lot of people who don't know him. They look at that clip, they're like, what the fuck? And in your head, maybe you're thinking, and maybe you are, maybe you're not. Maybe there's definitely people thinking this, like, oh, if you watch more of him, you'd understand. I'm not going to watch more of him, though. I don't give a fuck about him. I just saw this one clip. I'm going to assume he's racist. Now, let's say I go on Twitter right now, and I go with the mindset that, oh, I gotta find out what he's about, like to see what he means. Now, every time I watch a video and someone says some racist shit, I got to find out more about them. Now I got to decipher if he's a racist or not. I got to see if he's done this before, what he does, or I got to find out what he means. I don't know the guy. That's what I've seen this. I'm going to think you're racist. Even though I know, saying a racist joke doesn't make you racist. But in this regard, that to me was like beyond it for me. Like that was like, what the fuck? Even if you explain to me what his headspace was, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. I don't know you, and nor do I care enough to know you. All I know is you're a comedian who said this. What the fuck? You get me? So I'm 100%. I'm with the belief of you don't have to. I guess I think we spoke about this before. I think we talked about James Gunn talking about this. You have one time to make your first impression. Yeah. And I wholly believe that. I don't think that nobody has to continue going through that. I just think that if enough people go in with that mindset, it's like that. You know when we talk about the pendulum swinging? Yeah. Let's just say the pendulum swings back where everything is like that now. Is I heard this one guy said this one joke. It's done now. They're gonna go right back into the super woke thing where we can't say shit no more. It's like we're gonna go back and forth. That's what we're having. That's why I like having comments like this. Is like, yo, can we just go back to like the middle? Because it's like I've been alive for 23 years. I've heard worse jokes than that. Mm-hmm. So from people that I don't think is racist. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I like adding context to shit because it's like if we don't add it, then we're gonna go into like the world that we don't want to live in. When it's like, okay, now if you say anything, mm-hmm. if you go into the world like you're my friend, you've heard me say outlandish shit. I've heard you say outlandish shit. Of course. If somebody heard that shit for the first time, they're gonna think like, yo, this guy Al is crazy. He's racist or he's homosexual. He's da-da-da-da. It's like homosexual. Imagine.
You say pause a lot. You know, sometimes you don't be saying pause.
This guy.
So that's like my fear is like, yo, can we just understand? Like haven't we learned this lesson already? Like in 2016, we saw what a world like 2016, 2015. We saw the world where anything you say can get you shut down. And now, and then I think it's to the fore. And then my problem is also the comedians are not doing a good job of explaining themselves either. Like when you are blaming the person who's offended, and like, oh, you're offended because you don't understand comedy. It's like, no, it just wasn't funny. So and that's why I give shout out to the comedians too. I'm like, both parties, in my opinion, are not doing a good job trying to understand each other. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Kevin Hart talking about his son.
I got a lot of fears, man. I got a lot of fears as a parent. I'm gonna tell you guys one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. That's a fear. Keep in mind, I'm not homophobic. I have nothing against gay people. Be happy. Do what you want to do. But me being a heterosexual male, if I can prevent my son from being gay, I will. Now, with that being said, I don't know if I handle my son's first gay moment correctly. Like, every kid has a gay moment, okay? Every kid. But when it happens, you gotta nip it in the bud. You gotta stop it right then. Hey, stop! That's gay! It's quick. No! I don't know if I handle my son's situation right, okay? He's at a birthday party, right? My son had a birthday party. He's playing. You know when kids play, they just play. You don't know what they're doing, but they're having a good time. They're just doing a bunch of stuff, right? They're moving around. I said, okay, he's good. I finished talking. I turned back around to check on my son again. A little boy was grinding on my son's ass. He was like this. I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I knocked them both down. Hey, what's going on here? What kind of party is this? Huh? What kind of party is this?
You get the premise.
I get the premise. I think that's
is
where
it
it comes in. Yeah.
Is he homophobic?
Is he homophobic or is it a joke?
No. I asked you two questions.
No. Okay, if the joke homophobic, yes, it's a pretty homophobic joke.
Is he homophobic?
Is he a homophobic person for that? I couldn't say. I'd say no. I'd say no because of I've seen so much Kevin Hart. I know so much of Kevin Hart that I would say no. But
that's the perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect. That's what I say. I'd say the way that was for me was how you were with the other one. You get it, but at the same time, I feel this way. If someone was from woke, like again, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be real honest with you. Woke culture, cancel culture, all of that never bothered me. I never cared about it. It never bothered me.
Which side are you talking about?
Them wanting to cancel people for doing it. Because if it hurts you that bad, like, go ahead, do what you got to do. You get me? But so my point of saying that was if someone that like was highly defensive for gay, like the LGBTQ people, or someone that was part of that came to me and was like, that's not funny. That was fucking homophobic. I'd be like, no, he's like, he's a pretty whatever. I'd try to explain it, try to give him my thing, and they're like, no, like why would him backing away his son away from a gay moment like be the butt of the joke? He could have said anything else. I'd be like, I get you, you're right. Like I would tell whoever it was, if you told me that, someone who's not gay, I don't know, but someone who's not gay, whatever, was to tell me that, I'd be like, okay, I get what you mean. Like I think it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, I can't. If you want to call me homophobic for that, I'll take that. That's what it is. It's a give and take, bro. I laughed at it, but if that mindset of me, like it doesn't hurt me. I only could gain from that. I only found it funny. If someone who was on the other end of that, who could didn't laugh at it, but was taking a shot, like they got a shot taken at them, how would I look at you and be like, nah, no, I get you. That's homophobic of him. If you want to label him homophobic for that, go ahead. Like, that's fine. I wouldn't agree or disagree with you. Do I think he's homophobic for making that joke? I can't say I do. I can't say I do.
See, that's the thing with the woke thing is, you say you didn't have a problem. My problem is that enough people like this, that joke itself got Kevin Hart to not host the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like he was there to host the Oscars. That joke resurfaced online, and they were like, no, you have to apologize or you're not going to be in the Oscars. And that's when the comedians flipped and like, yo, I'm not going to say sorry for a joke. And that's like Andrew stands on that shit. And he stood on it after that thing. He said, yo, I'm not going to apologize for making a joke. This is what I do. Mm-hmm. You don't got to like it. You don't got to like it. This is what I do. Now, that's my thing with what you just said about the cancel culture thing. It's like, bro, if we're gonna cancel, let's say the Kevin Hart example, if we're gonna cancel people or take jobs away from people for making a joke like that, do you know how many humans in the world will lose jobs?
I don't think
like if we're gonna live society where you cannot offend anybody you speak to. If not, you are labeled whatever you just said. Everybody in the world will walk around a label.
I feel like the world already kind of works like that. You can't offend. Like anybody could get offended.
But if you offending someone means I have to take something of yours now.
Yeah.
I have to take your job away, your platform away. You have to lose something every time you offend somebody, even if what you said wasn't really meant to offend them. We live in a tricky world where it's like in the world that we were living in, where it's like if something related, we both DC fans, right?
Yeah.
If somebody came to you and said, yo, the next Batman gotta be black. I never seen a black Batman. I don't think it's inclusive enough there. I would look at you like, yo, don't ever make Bruce Wayne other than a rich white boy. Somebody would be like, you're racist for that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not. Bruce Wayne is a rich white boy from Gotham. Yeah. Don't change that.
You'd be changing my entire that's a comic. There's a physical picture. Like his face is already stamped. I know how he looks. You can't just change that. I get what you're saying.
That's the world that we were living in. But I think the flip side of that is the world that we're living in now. I feel like the pendulum's going backwards. Some of that. It's like Assassin's Creed making their new Assassin's Creed game of the Black Samurai Yasuke, and people in the comments like, oh, here we go, another samurai, somebody that has to be black. I'm like, bro, Yasuke is a real fucking character in Japanese history. It's not fucking woke that he's in that game.
Yeah.
But nobody gives a fuck about any context anymore. It just, to me, just like people just draw the fucking line in the sand already and don't even want to understand the other side. Yeah. Now, that's like the premise of all this shit. Do I think Tony, Andrew, or any comedian that makes an offensive joke is either offensive or homophobic? No. But I do think you have the right to, you have to understand when that joke is just, you have to understand that you are making an offensive joke, and if it doesn't work out, people are gonna label you what they label you, whether you agree with that or not, and that does not make them woke or stupid or this or that. And Assassin's Creed is not fucking woke. Ubisoft is not fucking woke for making Yasuke a character in the game because he's a black samurai. Like he existed.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh my god, but like, was he even? He wasn't technically a samurai. He was really beneath the. I'm like, my nigga, it's a fucking game about a guy that dives 15 feet in the air to a fucking haystack. Like, what are we talking about? Nobody gives a fuck. Like, just people just lost common sense anymore, and that's my shit. Like, bro, I'm a human being. I'm gonna offend you. I'm gonna stare. If I walk, bro, I was born and raised in the hood. If I am walking on the dark, it's late at night, and there's a fucking dude across the street with a ski mask, I'm like, all right, man, let me pause on music. I could get robbed. Yeah. Does that make me racist? No.
Of course not. Of course not. But that's because of the conscious of the situation. It's at night. You get me?
But he could be a guy coming off his shift.
Yeah, he could be for sure.
Of a hardworking man, just has a ski mask on because it's cold. I'm gonna make that assumption no matter what. I don't give a fuck if that makes me racist or not. I don't need to, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that I think because of that is because you're not, the color of the skin wouldn't matter in that case to you. That's why. It's the scenario, not the person. You get me? That's the difference.
Listen, I don't even give a fuck. Even if I knew what race of the human being was, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. So like, say it was bright outside, there's people there, but that same guy was there. You wouldn't be worried because you wouldn't care because he's black. You get me?
Even if other words, if I'm in a white suburb, if I'm in a white ass no sundown town, I see a dude with a plaid shirt, ripped off shit. I'm sitting down there. He has a fucking that weak shit in his fucking mouth. I'm like, yep, he's gonna hang me. I'm not gonna go in that direction. Yeah. He could be the nicest human being on the planet. I'm going to make that assumption for myself. Does that make me racist? I don't know. To be honest, I don't care. Like my boundary for racism is if I see if you call somebody if I feel that intent of racism in what you're saying, that's racist. And I feel like when we go into this new world, this tricky gray world, it's like, bro, whether you believe anti-racist or not you specifically, I'm talking about or Tony or not, I don't care. You can say, you can think Tony's racist or not. I seen Tony put on Cam Patterson, a black comedian from Florida, every single time on his show. Or I got Alex Media, a black man from New York, on his show. Build him up. He's probably a multi-millionaire now. Or you got Derek Poston, the LA comic that opens first. Like if we're gonna be those people racist, I'm like, bro, there's people out there that are genuinely look at you as a second-class citizen or as beneath them because either where you were born or how you look like. Exactly. Those are the people that should be labeled those, not just human beings that said something racist. Everybody in their, if you could find me somebody in the world that hasn't had a racist thought ever, I'll give you $100.
No, everybody's had something, whether it was by choice, whether you were younger, whether you learned, you had to learn not to think that, no matter what. You get me? There's no matter what. That's always gonna be a tricky topic though, like a weird discussion.
Those are the fun topics though.
Yeah, they are the fun topics for people.
That's what we do here on Love What I Love. That was great, bro. That was a good conversation. I think
that's a good one.
Anything you want to get off your chest before we close this out here?
I'm gonna go home and think about this more because I want to see where I really think on it. Because now I have contradicting thoughts going on in my head right now that I couldn't speak on. I'd have to see. Because you're right. You are right. Like, he's done so much on the other end for him to say this thing where I still think that's a very fucking fucked up thing to say. I gotta maybe try harder to see what the scenario was. Well, that's my choice too, or not. I'm gonna choose to. I'm gonna choose. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm gonna choose to do that. If you want to think otherwise, you don't want to. I'm also with that. Like, yo, fuck what he said. You get nothing from him, but he took something. He took a shot at you, but you don't even laugh at his joke. He doesn't even give you humor. You got no reason to like or appreciate this guy. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, I'm gonna leave, think about it, and I like this. This was a good conversation. Good.
Guys, been your boy C-Swerve.
Alex.
We'll see you on next episode. It should be a Succession season 1, so look out for that. Peace, man.